All right, welcome back to the CBJ Show. I am here in person with Sion James, who's actually a student D-1 athlete at Tulane University. And thank you, Sion, for coming on. And
Of course.
this is awesome because it's our first in-person interview on the CBJ Show.
No doubt. I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
All right, I want to start off with just what is college life like as a D1 athlete? How do you find the balance between eating, exercising, and studying?
Yeah, I mean, just in general, it's a lot. Like, there's a lot we've got to do. Of course, we got to be on top of our game athletically, but we're also students. You know, we don't really get a pass just because we're playing a sport. You know, we still got to handle our business. So, really, a lot of it is time management and just blocking out different times of the day. So, for me personally, I wake up at about 8 o'clock every day, make some breakfast. Then 9 to about 12 is class stuff, going to class, handling that. 12 to 3 is that's my on the court, working out. I'm getting the lift in. And then about 3 to 6 or 3 to 4 is kind of chill, get some food. And then about 4 to 8 is getting homework done, getting everything done that I needed to handle. After that, I'll make some dinner. Sometimes finish out more work if I have to. But it's really just about blocking off the time of day and being really disciplined. Like, got to be incredibly disciplined to get everything done and not lose your sanity in the process.
Well, there's a lot you got to balance. How do you balance athletics and food? And it's obviously a challenge, but you seem to have a schedule set down in stone, so that works.
three years in helps. It definitely wasn't this solid at the beginning, but starting to figure it out.
Well, you did have the pandemic to deal with at the beginning of your college year, but I guess that'll be a good segue. Is what was your college life like as a D1 athlete during the pandemic?
I mean, it's kind of hard to say because that was my first year. I didn't have anything to compare it with at the time. It was all I knew. Like, coming over to the building and getting our COVID test before walking in the door every day and getting everything sanitized and wearing masks to play basketball. Like, this isn't normal. These aren't normal things, but I didn't have much to compare it to. So now, years removed, it's kind of different to see that we can have fans in the gym and we can bring our parents to the facility when they visit. And, you know, we can really enjoy being a student athlete, not only on the court, but all that comes with it. Because, you know, we've got friends and family who want to kind of experience it with us. And now, outside of the pandemic, we can do that. During it, not at all. It was a totally different world.
Before we move into basketball, to talk a question outside of basketball, you serve as the chief operating officer for a nonprofit called Ryan's Giving Tree. For our audience at home, it's a community organizer focused on engaging communities and the goal of achieving health, wealth, and housing for groups in NOLA. How did the organization get started, and why do you do it?
Yeah, so it started by one of my good friends, a current roommate, former teammate, Sandy Ryan. He's always had a heart for giving to the homeless. And one Saturday morning, he texted me and a friend like, "Hey, what are y'all doing?" We said nothing. He said, "Want to go grab some sandwiches from McDonald's and pass it out to the homeless up and down the street?" We're like, "Yeah, of course." We went with them, and it was just really it was an eye-opening experience because these are folks on the road that are there every day, but a lot of people don't even notice. You know, these are people who need just as much love and support as any of us, and it gave us the opportunity to do that. So now I've been working with Sandy, like I said, good friends, just helping him out, giving my talents, giving my skills to help grow the organization. So it started just with one day, us passing out food, and now we pass out supplies and those things repeatedly. We make incredible relationships with the people that we see on the street. And on top of that, kind of pivoted to a point where there's so many homeless services in the city, but they're all scattered all over the place. So Ryan's Giving Tree, or RGT, is going to be a community organizer where we kind of become the middleman for all these organizations that need access. We can provide that, and we can provide data so that when we go to government organizations, we can say, "Hey, here's what we talk to these people on the street. Here's what they need. Here is how you can help." Really just streamlining these services. Love Sandy like a brother, and anything he needs, I'm there for him. So I'm just excited that it's something else I can do outside of athletics.
It's awesome to hear you find ways to give back to the community, in addition to your studies at Tulane.
Of course.
Back to the basketball side of things. Tulane men's basketball head coach Ron Hunter. He reached his 500th win as a head coach. Not all at Tulane, obviously, but what has been your experience playing for Coach Hunter? And obviously, you just recently hit that milestone game, so you're probably still remembering that game and how it felt, and it's just awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited for him because just only so many people can reach 500 wins. So much has to happen. So much has to go right. Whether you're the best coach or the worst, so much has to go right for someone to hit a 500 wins, especially as a black coach in this country. Like, that is an incredible feat. I'm really happy for him. And it's been great playing for him. You know, I decided to come down to Tulane because when he was at Georgia State, he made great relationships with the coaches around there. And so all of my people, the people that I lean on to make my decisions, once they were at Tulane, everyone was like, this is the guy you got to play for. And it's been that exact experience. You know, you see him on the sidelines jumping around, yelling, screaming. He's really intense, but then after it's all done, it's all love with Coach Hunter. And it's been a great experience playing for him.
I was going to say, you see what's on TV. He's very energetic, but obviously as a player you get to see him behind the scenes a little bit.
Yeah, and behind the scenes, like, he's a great dude. He's really energetic. People love him for a reason.
In regards to basketball, you also serve on the Student Athletic Advisory Committee, or the SAAC, for both Tulane as a school and the American Conference. What is the SAAC, and what is your role with the organization?
Yeah, so for short, we call it SAC, and SAC is, it means different things for different levels. Here at Tulane, it's really about organizing the student-athlete leaders from each team to put on different events and to really see what from kind of the athletic department do for us student athletes that we enjoy and the things that we like. So that's been really exciting, getting to work with my co-president, Mackenzie Clark, from the women's tennis team. She's been great. We've been kind of leaning on each other to get things done. It's really exciting just having a leadership role. Another thing we do is really try to make great relationships with everyone, all the student athletes in the department. You know, it's almost 400 of us. Really getting to know everyone and show that, hey, we're someone that you can lean on when you need help. When there's anything we can help you with, we're the ones you can go to. And that's been incredible. Awesome. And then at the American, it's largely the same, just organizing different events that each school is doing and giving different schools around the American a place to really go to voice their needs or wants and then work from there.
Awesome. There's been not only Tulane basketball in the New Orleans area as excitement, but also last year the men's Final Four was here in New Orleans. You've gotten the opportunity to not only went to last year, but the previous year as well. First, if you mind just briefly talking about what you do and what the experience was like.
Yeah, so the Final Four is an incredible, it's so much fun. It was one of the best sporting events that I've ever attended. 2022 was here in New Orleans, and that was great because I got to work with some of the men's basketball staff and some of our manager staff as well, doing some of the game preparation stuff for the teams, like setting up the locker room, setting up the court, making sure all the players have everything they need. And it was great for me just to be in the building with the highest level of college basketball. You know, ideally for me, I would be the one on the court because that's why I do this, to play. But if we're not playing, second best is just being in the building, helping out however I can. It's one of the best events in basketball. It was an amazing experience to go.
Awesome. You've recently made the decision to test out the portal and maybe go to the NBA draft. And what is that experience going to be like? Obviously, post-college, it's a whole different experience. You don't have the schoolwork anymore. It's just mostly on focusing on basketball. Is that something you're excited for, worried about, excited to check out the next step?
A little bit of both. You know, my goal is always to play professional basketball, not just professional, but in the NBA. So now that I have the opportunity, it's in front of me. I got to see what's there. And you know, I love Tulane, and if not for the NBA, there's no reason I would leave Tulane because it's the best place in the world. But at the end of the day, I got to see what's out there for me professionally. But even when I'm professional, I have no intention of only playing basketball. There's an incredible platform being a student athlete in college and being a professional athlete to do so many other things, whether in business, in the community, truly whatever I want. And that's the part I'm most excited about, to be able to do the same sort of things that I do in college on a grander scale, helping the community on a greater scale, working in businesses and working with organizations, but on a grander scale. I'm really excited for that possibility. If it doesn't happen now, then whenever it does, just day by day working so that the opportunity is there when I get it. And then, of course, basketball. I want to be the best player in the world, and that's what I'm going to continue to work towards.
Well, I wish you the best of luck.
Appreciate it.
Speaking of the NBA, you got a favorite NBA player?
It's got to be LeBron. Sharing a name is part of it, but there's something to say about guys who just had eyes on them for so long, and year after year and year after year has continued to do everything right, almost not making mistakes. The media has to try so hard to even find one bad thing to say about him. That's something that's impossible to do nowadays, and I really, not only on the court, but I look to the way he carries himself off the court.
As we're recording this, last night the LeBron and the Lakers made it out of the play-in game. They'll play the Memphis Grizzlies in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
You gonna watch the games?
I will watch the games, but that might get ugly quick. As much as I'm a LeBron fan, I am a huge basketball fan in general. The Grizzlies are so much fun to watch. John Morant's so much fun to watch. The team as a whole, so much fun to watch, and I just like seeing good basketball.
Speaking of the NBA playoffs, obviously we just mentioned that they're getting started. Lakers making it out through the play-in game. There's a lot of teams out there. It's wide open. Do you have any prediction for an NBA championship at this moment?
I can't. I can give you 6 teams who might be close, but I'm not in the business of giving. I don't know. Like I said, I love watching basketball. I have a favorite player, but at the end of the day, I just like watching good basketball. I might not miss a game all playoffs. I'm just watching everything. I just hope that whatever happens, whoever makes it to the finals, they give us a good show. I'd love to see 7 games just for some suspense and go from there.
Well, coming from the Boston area, I am a Boston Celtics fan, but
y'all are one of the 6 teams.
The end of the day, you're just rooting for some good basketball.
Always.
And we'll wrap up our interview. I'd like to throw a little bit of a curveball to players, and obviously you're playing D-1 basketball, but if you had the opportunity to play any other D-1 sport, what would you choose?
I have 2 answers to this. 3 answers to this. Like I said, I'm just a big sports fan in general. My first answer I would run track. I used to run track in middle and high school, and I loved it. If it wasn't for basketball and track season being overlapping so much, I might do that. Outside of that, I'd love to play tennis. I've been picking up more and more of that, especially during the pandemic. My best friend and I, that's one of the things that we could do without getting each other sick or getting whoever else sick. I'd love to see what that's like. And I've been trying to pick up golf lately too. I don't know that I'd play on the D1 level. I don't know that I'll be that good that soon, but one of those 3 I'd love.
Well, Sion, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day, as you mentioned earlier. With that, that'll wrap up our interview section of the CBJ Show. Thank you for listening.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.